Hello, friends. It's Lindsay from World Changing Kids, and my pronouns are she and her. Today, I wanted to just do a short intro video to the video you're about to watch. The video you're about to watch was recorded during our Upstanders and World Changers camp this past week, where the topic for the week was food insecurity, food waste, and food rescue. So the kids and I started the week off talking about what food insecurity is. And I showed them a video that took place in California. And I was kind of saying to the kids, it's too bad I didn't have a Canadian um, video to show, or I didn't have, some data or some information from a Canadian perspective. And one of the awesome kids in the camp said, well, what about food insecurity in the northern communities in Canada? Which was an amazing question, insightful question. And I didn't ask him, but I wonder if he came up with that question because I'm pretty sure that like a year or so ago, him and his mom attended my family social justice club. I forget exactly what I was calling it, but a family social justice club workshop where we talked about food insecurity in the North, and we had a special guest from the Northern Birthday Box Project, which is a great organization here in Ottawa where you can sponsor a birthday box to be shipped up to a community in the North. And this awesome guest uh, told us all about, food prices in the north and how there is food insecurity. So I think that that might be where this awesome camper's question came from. So that was Monday of this past week, and I said, you know what, that's a great question. I'm going to try to find out some more details to share with you about food insecurity in Canada's northern communities. So that was Monday. Tuesday of this past week, we interviewed Brandy from Food Sharing Ottawa. So that took up our Tuesday session, and I will also get that video up to you soon. So Wednesday, I came back to the kids with some videos about food insecurity in the north and organizations doing great work on that front. And one of the organizations that I found and that I shared with the kids is called the Growcer. And what they are doing is installing shipping container greenhouses up in northern communities. So the video that I showed the kids was about a project in Churchill, Manitoba, and it was an amazing video. I'll put a link to that video below here so you can watch it if you would like to do some further learning. And what I love about it is it's a for-profit model. So it's not just a research project where the funding is going to run out or the project is going to end and the community is going to be left without a greenhouse again. This is a for-profit, long-term sustainable project run by the community. So I loved everything about it. And what was amazing is one of the kids in our camp who's been with us for a couple of our sessions now said, well, can we interview this organization, Lindsay? It turns out they're right in Ottawa. Why don't we reach out to them and interview them? And I said, that's a great idea. I will try it, but it is already Wednesday. We only have 2 more days of camp, so it's an unlikely possibility, but you know what? I'll send them an email. So I totally cold called, sent an email to the grocer, and the amazing Alida from the grocer wrote back that same day and said, yep, I can do tomorrow at 10. So we interviewed Alida on Thursday of last week's camp, and it was amazing. So this is the first clip from this interview. As always, I ask the kids to come to the interview in any way that they feel comfortable. So with their video on, with their video off, or sometimes there's fancy masks that are worn to make them feel a little bit more comfortable, as is the case here. The camper who is wearing the mask, mentions that he knows that the railroad that got washed out, the owner said it was too expensive to fix it and he's looking to sell it. He knows that, our friend, our camper, knows this because of a video that we watched. That was mentioned in the video. So that was cool that he remembered it and knew to raise that in the discussion with Alida. But I also just wanted you to know because it might not make sense otherwise. So I loved everything about this. I was so super excited about this interview, that it happened so fast, that the kids requested it. I had a friend who tell me what she loves about World Changing Kids is that we teach kids the art of possibility. We teach them, that anything is possible. And this is a perfect example of that. And with that, I will sign off so that you can jump right into the interview with Alida from the Growcer.
Sounds good. Well, hello everyone again. My name is Alida. I'm here in Ottawa. Is my, I guess, hometown and where I grew up. And my business is called Growcer. So how this all began, I was actually a student, just like all of you, at the University of Ottawa. And we were working with a, I guess, side organization at the time that was interested in social entrepreneurship. So what that means is you're interested in building a business like some of those great minds you see around the world, but rather than it just being about profit or money, it's actually about building on social issues or environmental issues or anything that you think is really important. And that was something that was really valuable to us. We didn't just care about building a business. We wanted to build something that had an impact. So for us, it was how could we help our environment and how can we help our fellow Canadians with something that might be a challenge for them. And what that challenge was, we learned, was food insecurity, which I hear is what you guys are all learning about this week. And something I did not know was that Northern Canadians have such a challenge with food insecurity and have some of the highest rates of food insecurity. So being unable to access fresh or affordable food, or just being able to go to a grocery store, which we have the luxury of doing here in Southern Canada, where I am. And it was something that really bothered myself and my business partner. We said, why don't Canadians like us have the same access that we should all be able to have? So that started our business in terms of saying, okay, how could we do something about this? And that's how we learned about hydroponics. And so for those of you who might not know, hydroponics, or I guess you saw the video now, it's growing food without soil. So it's usually very specific plants, so a lot of leafy greens like lettuce and arugula or spinach, herbs, and what are called brassicas, so things like broccoli or cauliflower, things like that, all around the vegetable family, if you will. And that was where we got started, because in a lot of these northern communities that we were working in, they don't have a very long growing season, right? There's not a lot of soil, or it's all very frozen throughout the year. So you need to find ways to be able to do so in a new way, because you can't be able to do it in the ground like you might be able to do elsewhere around the world. And so that's where we got our idea. And now it became the product that you saw in the video, which is a 40-foot shipping container that is able to grow food year-round without having to be able to rely on soil or sunlight, because everything is provided to the plants within that controlled indoor environment. And the plants can happily grow in temperatures like you saw in Churchill. They go to minus 55 degrees Celsius. And then all the way up in the summer, in around the 30-degree mark, the plants have the perfect environment to be able to grow no matter what it is outside. And so now, that was about 4 years ago, and so now we have just over 20 installations across Canada, from all the way on the west coast to the east coast, from BC to Nova Scotia and up to Nunavut and the Northwest Territories. And we're growing, and we're trying to see how much more impact we can have by allowing other people to grow their own food locally.
I like a question.
You have a question? Okay, go ahead.
How's the amount of weeks of the growing season of Northern Canada? What is the amount of weeks?
That's a good question. It really depends on the area, but it's not very long. And the type of crops that you can grow, you can't grow very deep in the soil, especially if you're very far up in Nunavut, because the ground is frozen year-round. So you have maybe, I want to say, this isn't scientific or completely accurate, but you probably have about maximum 8 weeks or so. So 2 months where you have a good growing season. But mostly you can do greenhouse and things like that, where you can have deeper soil to be able to grow.
That's why the shipping container is so important, though, right? Because you extend it. You can do the whole year growing season.
Exactly. Yeah. So rain, shine, or snowstorm or blizzard, the plants can happily grow year round. So we're able to do it 365 days of the year.
Wow. There. So
Um,
world-changing cat, that's the answer. That comparing an 8-week growing season, if you're trying to grow outside, to a 365-day growing season. That's pretty cool.
what made you decide to start in Churchill?
That's a great question. It was actually my business partner, his name is Corey. He got in touch with the research station there. So it's called the Churchill Northern Studies Center, and they study Arctic research throughout the year. And so we got in touch with them, and they were interested in food insecurity as well, and trying to see what they could do to be able to support their community. And at the same time, unfortunately, they usually got all of their shipments up by rail. And if you might have seen this in the news a couple years ago, their whole rail system got flooded for a very long time because of, I guess, seasonal floods. And so it was just a perfect time to be able to find something that they could rely on, because at that point they had to fly all of their food.
Yeah, and the owner would rather have sold it to get money instead of fixed it, because he said it would cost too much.
Yeah, exactly. So, it just put in perspective that our friends there wanted to find a solution that they could rely on themselves rather than any sort of external factors. And so they thought, why not try growing ourselves? And so Carly is still working up there and providing food to her community, and she's just continuing her awesome work that she does. So it's really exciting to be able to work with her all year round.